Okay, what's up, everybody? How are you doing? I have the amazing, illustrious Joey Cato here with me tonight for the Power Hackers. Joey, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, Guy. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, we have Joey on the line. Couple items. Let's get out of the way real quick. So those of you who had the servo is off. So don't go playing with servos today. All right. That was last night. All right. I shouldn't have been soldering on stream. Now, Joey, on the other hand, this is the person I told you all about. This is the guy. This is like my hack mentor, like I envision myself hacking as cool as Joey does. Now, I'm going to tell you, Joey, you know what? We're going to start with the other Paris, Texas. So, Joey, this is Joey. Everybody, say hi. So, hey, and Brendan's here. Hey, how's it going, Brendan? How's it going, Jane? Good to see all of you. So, we are going to start chilling out here. We're going to take a look at the other Paris, Texas. So that the other Paris, I suppose. Yeah, the other Paris. There's only one Paris, Texas, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. This is where Joey. This is where you're from, right?
Pretty close. Yeah, the little red splotch there. That is where I was born and raised.
Lamar County, if I read that right in the Wikipedia. Is that?
I see someone did their research. That's
okay.
correct.
Okay, we got something right. That's, for everybody else, by the way, Joey and I were having a lot of fun before the show tonight because the power was out here. And so we did a whole sound check. We did a whole streaming test in the car. I was driving around looking for 4G service, and Joey was a sport. He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then I told Joey that there's bears in Connecticut. So I said, Joey, when you're looking behind me in the camera, just let me know if there's any bears sneaking up behind. So,
I was just saying, no fast movements. It'd be
yeah.
Very cool.
Yes. By the way, Guy, just stay calm. But that's so. When you were doing that in Paris, you shortly after that, so you did a lot of computer stuff, obviously. But then I saw this beautiful silicon graphics machine, and I had to understand, like, so Joey and I worked together, by the way, everybody, at Netflix, and before I met Joey at Netflix, he's like riffling through some old, like, pictures, and I kind of like see them. Hey, what's that Silicon Graphics one? What is going on here? Why were you doing Silicon Graphics things?
So when I was fresh out of college, my very first job was working in the defense industry for E-Systems, and when I joined the human computer interaction group. And
okay,
lo and
that's
behold,
like early UI for defense people.
That's right.
Okay.
I got completely immersed in Unix. We had these Silicon Graphics workstations. If you go back in time,
Yes.
like 1996, these babies were pretty top of the line. They were used to create CGI special effects for movies.
Oh yeah.
Like, let's see, Jurassic Park and Terminator.
This is the
2.
Indigo you got here. This is like pretty serious rendering hardware.
Yeah, these were not the hobbyist computers you would buy
No,
at Radio Shack.
No, I mean, these things are super expensive. I remember like fanboying about this as a kid. Like I dreamt about it. And then there was that Silicon Graphics laptop they showed in the movie Twister, and I was like, oh my god, that's like
right.
I wanted that.
Yeah, this is also like in the era where if some of those you might remember the video. What did we call them back then? They were 3D accelerator cards, like
yeah.
And but
yeah, the pre-GPU GPUs.
I remember like there was a CGI demo of like a spinning metallic cow. And back then it was just so cool to look at. Oh
yeah, that totally rings a bell. I feel like I've seen that cow, but that okay. We're gonna. You left Paris, Texas. Carl Vandergeist was asking if Paris, Texas is like in the movie. I don't know what movie was there, but I feel like you both know.
Thanks for the call out. The movie's awesome, by the way. If you haven't seen it. It's nothing like the movie.
Okay.
When I was
There's a movie about Paris, Texas.
Yeah, so it's part of the story, but you never actually really see Paris, Texas in the movie.
Okay.
The only small glimpse you get of it is through a Polaroid that looks like some desert wasteland that has no similarity to Paris, Texas.
Okay, so all right, got it. It's a desert wasteland. I understand. That no, totally not right. That is
us Parisians or us parasites. We were
parasites.
we were happy to have a movie, you know, named after our town. It was a big thing back then.
Oh, that's great. All right, wow. I guess I'll have to not check that out because it's not at all historically accurate, right? Hello, Stealthar. Welcome everybody. So then, but after you left that, you were like, I'm going to be a game dev. You had seen the Silicon Graphics. You knew what computers could do. You were like, I'm getting in. I mean, how did you start? Because you came to Silicon Valley through the game industry, right? You were...
That's correct. It wasn't like a quick, smooth journey. Definitely not.
Okay.
I mean, I guess like most of us, I guess video games were responsible for like motivating me to become a programmer.
I started there too. Yeah, I probably half of chat here is like either video game like players, esport. Now there's esports, Joey. Like,
I love how much things have evolved.
Yes.
And by the time I was in college, I really seriously wanted a career in games. I didn't realize how difficult it was to break in.
Right.
And so what I had started doing, I started interviewing with game companies any chance I could get.
Okay.
And you know, after the first five rejected me, I said maybe I should learn something from this. So I kept a spreadsheet, and I was like, you know, I'm all about data. Like, what can I do? And over time, that list of companies that rejected me grew to about 25, actually.
Okay.
No
Only 25. Come on.
Yeah. By that point, I had already relocated to Arizona to join a startup. And I was doing some aerospace stuff, which was kind of cool.
Okay.
But
you were on the way to California because that's Arizona's like in the middle, right?
That's the slow scenic path.
Okay. Yeah. You followed the tacos. Okay, got it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And actually, it was pretty humbling moment, I guess, in my career, because during that time when I was being rejected, you know, the writing was on the wall. Like, why am I not getting in? I thought I was pretty decent at programming. I mean, I graduated. I got a job working in the industry. Right.
This is, by the way, everybody, this is one of the best programmers I know. And think of the number of rejections. He's like just trying to get like a basic junior, getting started, mailroom programming. Is there mailroom programming? I don't know. Are there mailrooms? I don't know. But basically like anything to get into a game company that's reasonable. And like it just, but then, I mean, you hit gold though, right? Because then next thing you know, we are looking at Sims 4. I mean, this is what, like, did it just snap one day? Did they just finally realize, man, this dude knows how to program? Like, did you just bubble sort fast enough? I mean, what happened? Like,
well, it was a journey of self-discovery, because when I realized I wasn't getting accepted, I just started asking them directly, like, so what's wrong? Where are my gaps, right? And that's where I got the humbling moment of, wow, maybe I don't know much about programming as I thought, and that's when I came to a deep realization that I wasn't as strong in like data structures or algorithms, and so what I really try to do is just use every failure as a feedback loop to like tell me what to focus or drill on, and I just kept doing it. And long story short, by the time I had gone through several failed programming interviews with video games, I did get reached out. EA of Redwood Shores in California reached out to me. Okay. I will say, admittedly, that I was a little bit resigned at that point. Like, you know what? I was kind of accepting, like, okay, maybe I'm never going to get gaming. But I think that attitude, that relaxed attitude of going in and not really caring about the outcome, it made me less nervous and probably helped a lot in me going through the interview pretty smoothly. So, yeah, they made an offer, and I was completely stoked. And that's how I got to California, basically.
And then you got assigned. You were working on Sims 4, or was there like some other?
Oh,
okay. I'm missing some steps.
I still had to go with the entry level stuff to get there, but.
Okay. So you were there for a while.
Yeah. So I joined in 2005. I joined the Sims 2 console team.
Okay.
And back then, current gen was GameCube, PS2, and Xbox.
Okay.
And essentially, they were porting. We had one code base, and we were writing it to port to all three of those platforms. And I had the what I worked on was the what we call the load save target. Basically, if you're using the save game interface or to load or save your game, that was the UI I had worked on.
Okay.
And that was a fun adventure.
Yeah.
I think
that's the digital mailroom, right? Yeah.
And that was a pretty big awakening for me because when I joined the game company, I realized, oh my God, there's a lot of brilliant people here, and
okay.
I went through the classic imposter syndrome and stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess I stuck through with it, and I just tried to learn all I could through
everybody
I worked with.
So you were there for a while. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I started with the Sims 2 console, and then I moved on from that project to My Sims for the Wii.
Okay.
Which was like an early idea of Minecraft, like a Minecraft-ish Sims, I guess, if you will.
So like you can build everything, kind of.
Yeah,
idea.
But not as extensively as Minecraft. Minecraft is awesome. Let's just say it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's.
And then I kind of just kept on I guess you could say a Nintendo-centric path. Like the next project I was on was working on the Sims 3 ported to the 3DS. No, wait, I missed one. Sorry. Before that, Sim Animals to the Nintendo DS. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you had sort of moved off the PC Unix world and into the game console world, but now as a game dev, and but those game kits were like super locked up. So like, was it like really hard to program? However, how did they manage the like custom Nintendo tools or like the Sony tools, or like how did that integrate with the code?
So it went pretty well because I worked with Nintendo mostly. They had a pretty fine ecosystem of tools. Like for My Sims, I had to put together like the video, like the intro video. They basically provided the video player, and they gave you the instructions. Like, okay, you have to generate this number of images under this resolution, and then run our tool and stitch everything together. So it was actually pretty easy in that regard. And then I guess the other thing that made it somewhat easier was that we were using a code base that was had been well tested over time. Usually what happens in the gaming industry, or I guess it depends on the company, is once you ship a game, they will try to reuse that code as much as possible to generate further ports, or even if they start a new project, they have to start somewhere, and it's oftentimes they want to prototype really fast, so they'll often reuse an old code base and extend it. Okay.
All right. So but things were pretty stable in terms of like all that kind of stuff, but it was just because I always thought like, a lot of the little I've done with console development kits, it was pretty difficult to get to work with a custom build and whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. I'm not trying to oversell something.
I know. And Carl is even wondering, like, how did you write code without Stack Overflow? Because, there couldn't have been a Stack Overflow. Like, if you were like typing a question on the equivalent of Stack Overflow, they'd be like, guy in the next cube over, like, Joey, stop typing that in public.
Actually, a good point. We didn't have. You're right. Stack Overflow wasn't really. What was it? The Expert Code Exchange, I think. Oh
yeah, Experts Exchange. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, and it had like a pay thing, and like
yes. Yeah. I stopped using it, I think.
Yeah, you had to like pay to see the answer. Like they would tempt you, like, you want this code, don't you? It'd be like 2 lines, and then you'd be like, I can't see it.
Yeah, but fortunately, because we had a contract with Nintendo, we had official dev access. Like, think of it as a Usenet or a news group for any kind of dev-related questions on Nintendo development.
And that was internal to Nintendo, so you could share that with other game devs that were using.
Right, and so if you go on this forum, you would see like a number of other companies asking similar questions to you. But they had, I have to admit, Nintendo had a pretty sharp team of devs, and they were pretty responsive on supporting everybody.
Huh, nice, cool. Well, so eventually you were building the character editor thing, right? That was.
Oh yeah. Wait, are you talking about the Create a Sim?
Yeah, Create a Sim.
Yeah, so actually I probably should give a little more context there. When I was at EA, I was doing, I guess the environment I started with was C++.
Okay.
But over time my role shifted because I was doing UI. At the time, ActionScript was heavily used, and what
Okay.
they essentially did is they had their own sort of action script interpreter, if you will, and they even used middleware at like scale form at some point. But effectively, it allowed developers to use ActionScript, and that code got integrated into the final game.
Okay, so there was like its own runtime and
to using ActionScript. That led me up to so by the time I got to The Sims 4 and got to work on the Create a Sim, I got to use that.
Okay, and that's basically where we meet. Because shortly after that, I mean, obviously you were having too much fun doing some game programming, and Ricky comes along and goes, that's enough of that. You need to knock that off. It's time for you to do some serious. Now, for everybody else, Ricky is both of our first boss at Netflix, and he's a fantastic guy. Maybe I'll get him on the show someday. He is also from the game industry. He had been done a stint at Sony, a couple other places, and he kind of knew what it looked like to see a good game dev. He was looking at you. He's like, that's enough of that. You're having way too much fun. You're going to be streaming movies. I'm going to make you stream movies. Now he must have said something better than that to talk you out of this fun create a sim world to here's some non-member. Okay, we're not going to talk about that, but that.
Well, I would say it wasn't exactly a hard sell for me, because giving more context, around that same time that he reached out to me, I was already kind of seeing the writing on the wall with Flash and ActionScript.
Okay.
And reading headlines on a daily basis that Flash is dying.
Just kept getting worse. Jobs said it's not going on the iPhone ever, and then trouble, right?
And being in the gaming industry, you kind of learn quickly. You want to stay. You got to stay fresh. You got to stay up to date with the latest technology.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there thinking, well, my day job is using ActionScript. That has a limited shelf life. Maybe I should start looking at this HTML5 thing I just heard about.
Yeah, you're like, I could go back to that C++ thing. Nah, let's see what this HTML5 thing is all about. And that really owned the UI tier after that. I mean,
I was surprised how much it took off, actually.
But good bet not to stay on ActionScript.
Yeah, I think I made the good bet there, maybe.
Yeah, that's a solid.
So by the time Ricky reached out to me, and I found that, wait, I can do JavaScript 100% of the time, and you'll pay me,
right?
that was the sell.
that works, right? I mean, that's a real thing. Okay, so then you came. That's where you made the mistake of running into me. Okay, so we both join TVUI, and I don't have many photos from this era. But sooner or later, I mean, they always would give you kind of a fun task when you get started, and then they'd give you a task that was a little bit less fun, and just to kind of see is this guy going to make it? Is he going to be able to do the hard stuff? Now, I'm pretty sure none of our viewers can read this properly, because this is showing one of the early. It has a color. It has the name in a different color. The text is a different color, but how did this happen? What?
There's several layers of inside jokes here, but I'll try to.
Yeah, let's go for sort of a surface layer. So you joined Netflix. We went out to a welcome lunch thing, because actually, all right. I mean, of course, Netflix is the culture of fear. It's really terrible time, so we never do anything nice. But we had a really nice lunch. Everyone was sort of chilled out, having some drinks, and we get to talk. And you find out one of your early projects involves some of the sign-up flow for Netflix, but that was kind of a different team at the time.
That's right. I remember.
But our team was related to TV, to kind of new hardware, radical hardware, game consoles, stuff that was sort of setting the direction what was eventually going to get rolled into smart TVs. But this was kind of like the precursor to that. And we were dealing with a lot of the R&D challenges for getting stuff to work on TV, where Netflix was just a website. Having been a website that supported just DVDs, it was starting to support, Darwin had just rolled out, I think at about the point you joined. And for context, everybody, there's about 40 million Netflix subscribers at this point. Today, there's about 200 million. So this is a very different company at this point, right? But we had a nice little wing where our cubes all sort of met up, and then we would talk occasionally, and this happened. So I think that sets the stage, right?
Yep. Do you want me to talk about it a little bit? Or? Okay. I think it was the state machine graph. That was another story.
Oh my! I wish I had the state machine graph. I forgot about the state machine graph.
So I will try to summarize or briefly summarize. But one of the tasks I had was working briefly in the non-member UI space. And
wait, hold on. Before non-member is people who have not. This is mainly signups, right? These are people who are not Netflix members. So
that's a good point. Yeah.
Okay, so
basically, non-member is the UI you will see if you're either signing up or signing in to Netflix.
Okay.
That first UI that you see, that's what we're talking about.
Okay, and it gives you the option to put in a credit card eventually, or do a free trial, or you've done too many free trials and you're a bad boy, and no more free trials for you. And so it had to encapsulate that in your state machine that you were talking about.
Yeah, and it's not like, oh, it's just 4 simple screens. No. It's
that was it, right? It was just that simple, right?
It's very complicated, like literally a state machine. And it's one of those things, like when you look at the code, you can't really visualize. So I used, what was it? AT&T had a product called GraphViz.
Right.
So I just kind of pieced together the code to build like this huge graph to see it. I wanted to see what it looked like.
The entire non-member state machine.
Yes, and lo and behold, it was actually scarier than I thought.
But, yes.
That I secretly think that might have typecast me to work on non-member stuff.
There's no going to non-member, right? Once you've touched non-member, you never get to come back, right?
That's right. And Netflix, we're constantly growing. Our team is constantly expanding, and at some point we sort of split off. We had like a non-member and a member UI, separate teams basically.
Yeah, we reorged like every 3 months, right? So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
and
so
we changed the name of the team routinely too, right?
Yes. So you never know what team you're on. You never know who's next to you. Are you on this team? No, you're from another reorg. Okay, but we still hung out that first like year or so up in that. We had that sweet space with the couch that I would die on, and that was.
I had a flashback to the Whiskey Globe.
Oh, and then there was the Whiskey Globe. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that. That's who we are. Okay, there was somebody thought it would be clever to have and somebody is also an awesome programmer, by the way. But he thought it would be pretty sweet to have one of those globes that you open up and, because they were arguing about us putting a bar in. That's right. That's how that happened. Okay.
Yeah, it brings in this like Prohibition era like Earth globe. That has a secret compartment to basically keep whiskey. Yeah,
exactly. And you would crack it open at the equator, and the whiskey was there. that basically did it. You know what? Sorry about that, Crateless. I didn't actually implement a commands yet. So this is Joey Cato, hacker extraordinaire. Extraordinaire. I could spell that word. It also comes from French, which is similar to this word that's on screen, because when you were working on that non-member, you got one of our first integrations with a cable company, because we had just done. I had just worked on the TiVo, the Virgin. What was it called? Virgin, like in the UK, Virgin. Wanted the new UI. I'd been working on that and, dealing with the JPEG, whatever, and we were just starting to do set-top boxes. And then you were doing our first like payment integration on a set-top box. And you said that this was like from the company called Orange. And I remember talking to a French friend and saying, hey, have you ever heard of this company Orange? And he said, and he called me Guy, because Guy, I guess, in French is Guy. And he said, Guy, it is not orange. It is orange. And so I came back and I said to Joey at that point, I said, this is not orange. This is orange. And of course, it was the
inside joke number 1.
And so at that point, Joey was doing some custom labeling, I think, on the UI. And all of a sudden he said, I need some proper like artwork to show what's going on here. Guy, I think you have that orange logo misspelled. It looks more like orange. So, and that basically is kind of how this happened. I kept this picture because I thought that it was one of the funniest moments I remember. Like, back
I remember you got really good at saying that because at one point you started spitting while you said it.
I think I've lost the skill since then, but it was so much fun. We were just, Joey and I would just kind of pass each other in the hallway, like, how are you doing? Orange, you know? And that would sometimes turn into Disney song, right? I mean, basically, but
yeah,
that was...
So,
yes, no, go ahead.
For those that don't know, orange is orange. I'm sorry, am I saying it right?
Yeah, please. Use your French.
It's the Comcast of France, so to speak.
Okay. So they're a very large provider. And then we had also done another provider that nobody could pronounce properly, which was, I don't want to give it away. It was the B one, B-O, that.
Oh, I think I remember, yes.
Okay, and we went like through 10 iterations of how to say this properly. None of us could speak French. We tried saying bouge, bogie, Voyages. I think we never got that right. And again, the same French. He's like, you have orange is now orange. You have it right. It's good. This is Bouygues. So I said, there's too many vowels there. How could that possibly be right? So that basically, yes, exactly as Jane has written it in chat. Orange. So that was another big one there. And by the way, yes, the Virgin Media TiVo, that was it. Visibly twitching. Thank you. It was an interesting time, but we got to hacking, right? Because we were not going to sit by just doing these occasional, integrations. We had some big crazy stuff to do while we were at Netflix. And so the first one that I have here, you entered Hackday, but before you did that, like, you were kind of like already in this TV space, and you missed a little bit of kind of like the retro world. And I saw at this point something that looked like a television appear. And this was kind of now you managed to get, this is My 80s TV. And what is My 80s TV? Because this thing looks pretty sweet. I don't know what this does, but
thanks for bringing this up. This is my attempt, or I guess I should say love letter to the 80s. I was trying to basically recapture like the authentic experience of watching a TV like back in the 80s.
Because we had TVs where you could just bring up anything you wanted, right? That's kind of the way Netflix could be any show, anytime. If you were watching on your mobile and then you started watching the TV, it would like remember where you were and pick up at the same place. So you wanted to take that away, right? You exactly. Were like, enough of that. That's not how it worked.
A friction-full experience, actually.
totally enhanced with friction type experience. This was the remote control era where you had to like hit your brother and be like, come on, go change the channel. Like,
yes, or you hid the remote if you were angry at others.
Remote? This doesn't look like it has a remote. Like, look at this TV. Okay, but what was this project?
So yeah, this is during my I guess my dark period where I was hating ActionScript and loving JavaScript.
Okay.
And I had this idea, like, wouldn't it be kind of cool to just like take a YouTube video and put an overlay on top of it to kind of give it a retro feel. And then the whole idea of like I was sitting there one day, like, how do you change channel? Like, what would it be like to change channels? And I thought, well, if you see buffering, that's going to be boring because you're going to be instantly pulled out of the experience. You'll know you're in a YouTube player.
Right.
But I realized that if you add something as simple as an animated static GIF, is it GIF or GIF? I don't know.
I go with GIF, but that's okay. I accept the GIF people.
Okay, cool. If you add an animated GIF, as an interstitial between the two YouTube clips, it basically has the effect of like seamlessly changing channels, and when I tried that, when I wrote that code and just tried it out, it's like, oh my god, I love this. And then it just led me down a whole path of different things. Like I was learning things as I went, like data scraping. Like the first thing I realized was, well, it'd be nice to if we really want to make this immersive, wouldn't it be more authentic if we could bucket it into like individual years? Like, some of the people going to this site might think, well, I want to go to 1983. What was TV like back then? And so I had to sort of hand curate a list of YouTube clips that fell into that year. And so that was a lot of research. But part of that was learning how to scrape data off of websites like IMDb, Billboard, Top 100, things like that.
Okay, now I actually pulled up the live UI. So this is the real website, my80stv.com, because you launched this.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and it has key mode. There's max headroom chilling out here. There's donating coffees. There's, by the way, here, everybody, you can play with this at home, and this still works, right?
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay.
Occasionally, sometimes there will be a takedown of a YouTube video, but there's enough content there to keep it still engaging, I guess. And also, what I try to do from time to time is read user feedback. I created a Google form. Basically, if people have suggestions for the site, I run a script from time to time just to repopulate the database.
Oh,
so,
nice.
And then I break it down into different categories so people can really filter down to what they want.
Okay, so if I turn this on with music, oh no, I have to. So if I select,
I think you need to invert it, I guess.
Illegally yours.
There was what?
Oh, you had it right. There you go.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. With the selection. Wow. It just that static really sells it. I hear you. I feel like. Oh, and I can turn the knob here.
Yeah. So that was just me playing around. I was learning HTML5 JavaScript as I went, and this is like really the early days of me like trying to figure out CSS. So I apologize for anybody.
No, this is awesome. There are no apologies. No apologies. This is amazing. I love this. Yeah, everybody definitely check this out. This is a home, and you keep this active. I thought it was just a hack, but no, you kept it active.
I felt it would be a crime to take it down because I still get like fan mail and stuff, which I really appreciate.
My God, they are saying. Yeah. They're saying great things about you in chat because they're saying this is top notch. Do not apologize. In fact, Jane went further and said CSS should apologize to you.
Oh wow! I'm so flattered. Thank you so much.
that is fantastic. Yeah, But sorry, I didn't mean to. You run with that. You were.
I was going to just say that the My 90s TV seems to be the more popular one right now. I guess it depends on the.
My 90s TV.
Yeah, basically it's the same idea, but I'm applying it to other decades.
Okay, there it is. And you also disabled the zoom button, so I can't easily zoom here, but I do have the ability to hit.
I think if you hit the F key, you can toggle between zoom levels.
Oh,
that way too.
Oh, that's why. Okay, you actually went there with the UI.
You might have changed it because of the zoom level.
Yep, that's my fault.
No worries.
We're gonna fix that.
This was written. What year was this?
That's why you disabled Zoom. That makes perfect sense now.
Maybe 2013, I think. That's when I started this.
Okay, very nice. That is absolutely amazing.
There's no React underneath. I just want to say that.
No, there's no. That's why this loaded quick, right? Okay, so I'm going to drop that link in there too for everybody. Yeah, just check this out. This is some more great stuff. Stupak definitely approves. Okay, so. Now, from there, you were born and bred hacker at this point because you were just like messing around with whatever hardware, whatever computers that just happened to be around, whatever nostalgia effects, whatever you felt like doing to CSS. It was already in your blood. And you started messing around at that point with, so I have one of your early entries for Hackday was the Netflix zone. And this was, again, sort of on the nostalgia kick because you had this site deployed, but you took Netflix into VR to recreate a very non-VR experience. What happened in the Netflix zone?
So as people probably have figured out by now, I'm from the older generation, and I wanted to rekindle the memories of walking into a Blockbuster. But with technology, of course. And the reason I worked on this hack was, I guess do most folks here know that we do our hack days like twice a year and such?
Yeah, they're where we hack. I mean, sometimes we don't make it quite twice a year, but we're pretty good. I mean, we do hack a fair bit. And you did this at a hack day, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and so this was a hack day project. And the reason I picked this was it was perfect timing because I had luckily received an early shipment of the HTC Vive VR headset when it came out, and I really wanted to learn VR. And by that point in time, I guess I figured out easiest way for me to pick up something was try to make a project out of it. I had in the
Yep.
past tried to learn things through textbook, but never got anywhere.
No,
So,
and this is the spirit of a hacker right there. That's it in a nutshell.
and so some more context here is I really wanted to get into Unity. I had a C# and C++ background, and from what I had early learned about Unity, it had a C# dev environment.
Yep.
And so I thought, man, I want to try this out. So so I was trying to learn the VR APIs at the same time as learning Unity, and it was really fun to use, by the way, for any of you that haven't used Unity before.
Oh yeah, they actually. So it's very common on Coding Twitch. You'll see a lot of Unity game dev streams. Like we actually just raided Lana Lux last night, she basically is in Unity every day.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
But yeah, I mean it's pretty popular. I've seen on the Twitch, like the science and tech part of Twitch, you know, which you see a lot of game dev there. But so you did this in Unity with the Vive.
That's correct, yeah. And,
okay.
Basically, if you can hit the play button if you want, you can kind of see more
okay.
of what's happening. It's basically you can interact in this this virtual blockbuster, if you will. And the title we picked for this was Daredevil.
Now,
the idea is
look at that. You've got the actual Marco. You've got the categories from Netflix.
That's right. Yeah, actually, Marco C. What's his last name? Calderes. I'm really bad at names, sorry.
Okay.
But he was the designer who was on my team.
Okay.
And he is to thank for all the the great artwork and assets you see here. And so he'd probably pick top mix picks for Marco there.
Oh yeah, I think they're gonna want to see. This is the blockbuster. This is all Unity, and you're actually there. You are. You have the video superimposed. A little bit of physics there. Nice.
The physics were free. I didn't have to do that. That was kind of built into Unity,
okay, that's built
nice.
in. And you can look at box art, and when you pick it up, like Daredevil had just come out at this point, right?
Around that time, it was pretty fresh. Yeah.
Okay. And then you would start seeing the back of the box information showing up, and the video screen is dropping down. I never went to a blockbuster like this. I had to go home.
Yeah, mine was pretty boring compared to this. The one in Paris, Texas, at least.
Yeah, mine was. Okay, and if you threw it at the screen, it started playing.
Yeah, that was kind of a last minute. Like, how do we interact with this TV in the easiest way possible? We'll just do collision detection, throw the VHS tape in.
Throw it. You better hit the monitor or forget it.
Please aim for the center. Well, don't worry, I'll expand the collision rectangle bigger. So
right. Yeah, it's kind of that whole wall. Yeah.
Oh, and a funny story here is, I think hours before Hack Day, we actually picked Daredevil as the title because we really weren't sure which title to use as the main piece, and up until then it was going to be Orange is the New Black. But in hindsight, I'm glad we went with Daredevil. It seemed to be a stronger fit.
Yeah, and also a little more timeless. But wow, that is really amazing. And you actually, I remember being at the Hack Day when you did this because you actually came on stage with a VR setup.
That's right. Oh my gosh, there's a story right there.
That's like the worst nightmare ever for a presentation. I mean, trying to get VR to work on stage with all the the cameras and everything else and the lighting and everyone's flashing and how did you get that to work? I tried to do an audio thing on stage. It never worked.
Oh my gosh. By the grace of Michael Spiegelman and then the other judges, what happened was, for those that don't know, you have a really tight time window.
2 minutes.
To set up your hack.
Yeah.
You have a tight time window to present.
Right.
And when we had practiced, we realized, okay, it's going to take a long time to set up the HTC Vive. So when we brought this to the attention of the Hack Day judges, they were amenable, and we actually got to go first, which was nice.
Which is the way to go there. I mean, because with a setup,
had we not gone first, there's no way we would have pulled that off.
Right. Okay. That is utterly amazing. It worked on stage. I remember wows in the audience. You must have won for that.
I think that one's a winner. And actually, I have to give a shout out to Adnan, who was on our team.
Yeah.
He's a great
awesome
listener.
Dude. Oh, yeah. Absolutely amazing dude. Last I heard, he was back in Pakistan.
But I heard he's back in U.S. again.
Oh, did he come back to the U.S.?
I think so.
Oh,
Well,
very
actually,
cool.
I need to follow up with him.
Yeah, we'll have to go check it. I haven't talked to him in years, but you hacked with him a lot because I think the next hack you did was also. I mean, so did we productize VR Netflix? I mean, is that a thing? Can people do the Blockbuster? Blockbuster's not going to claim rights anymore, right? I mean, are they out of business? Did that happen?
That's true, but I guess we do have. I'm thinking about it. What was it? The Gear VR that lets you watch Netflix in. That's the only.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I haven't seen too many VR ports, but I mean, I think this was a super fun take on what it would be like Netflix in VR. I mean, but I mean, you had already caught the bug. You were like in hard on hack day. So every hack day that's coming by, you're in. You're doing it.
I love it.
Yeah, and actually, Wubba Dub Dub, you actually know that's Alex. So he's.
Hey Alex.
He remembered that one. The company can't sue you if they don't exist, Jane says. And also, being first also makes you forgettable. What? Come on, Joe. Yeah, that's true, actually. It is. If you go earlier in the voting, it's harder for people to remember. And actually, with Hack Day politics, that's hard because there's like not so many people in the room up front, and they come sort of later in the day. And I don't know. I won very infrequently, so whatever the formula is, I don't know what it is.
I can sympathize with that sentiment because oftentimes when we did Hack Day, there were like over 100 hacks on occasion.
Yeah, it got tough.
By the time the audience is like halfway through that, there's so much.
Right.
I don't know if it's attention span or shock level reaction.
Yep. Yeah, they're just like,
probably do better if you're in the early part. And the best attitude really to have with Hack Day is not think about winning, just do it.
Yeah, I never thought about it. Basically, but then you drew something for the next one because you were ready to go, and so some fine artist on your team basically just said, "All right, I got this." You know, we're gonna go all the way like in on this drawing, and this drawing is about my level of artwork, I feel. Actually, this is better than what I can do, but and we're seeing Miami, and we're seeing Colombia, and we're seeing a guy with a gun, and stuff is happening here. There's some guys running around, and there's a bridge. What is this?
This is a very early concept. Like imagine game level for Narcos. Imagine as a video game. And,
wow. Narcos.
We only had a short period of time.
And you went for a whole game in Hack Day. I mean, this is crazy.
I would say, a lot of Hack Day events. Sometimes people prepare in advance. Because
sure. But I mean, like in a really tight time frame, you've gotten this entire gameplay that's mapped out on a piece of paper, storyboarded as it were, and executed to like a finished game in like that. This is awesome. I mean, because it started off looking like this, but by Hack Day it looked like this. Like this is what we're dealing with. This is the like intro screen on the game.
Well, I was definitely leaning on open source as much as possible. Like, so we use something called Phaser. It's a game dev library for JavaScript. That made it a lot easier because it does all the heavy lifting mostly for you.
Yeah, don't build an engine on stage. I mean, we don't have time to okay, and then yeah. Go ahead.
And then for the actual gameplay, like the level, there's this app called Tiled. I think it's a pretty popular level design tool in the game community.
Okay.
So we use that in Phaser, and that actually did most of the work for us. And really, it came down to Adnan was our level creator. So he for the level design, you can thank him for that.
Wow. Okay, and this was so in this Narcos game, because Narcos was just dropping at this point, and we all had seen the opening trailer where Escobar is meeting the guy and basically saying to him, "Plata o plomo."
Silver or gold? No, silver or
lead. Yeah. Do you want the gun or do you want a payment? And
an easy negotiation right there.
And that's what they chose. And so now we have the Narcos Plata o Plomo video game and this wonderful pixel art fun that happened here. And this, what? So it's a platformer game, right?
Yeah, I was trying to imagine like I guess NES era level graphics, like Akari Warriors, if you will.
Okay, okay.
But maybe not.
Oh, right, yeah, because you sort of moved like up and as you were sort of like crawling through enemy territory, and as we saw in the diagram.
This is not a game that would sell well commercially because it took some shortcuts, I will say.
Oh, like, come on, it's hack day. I mean, you know, how could you possibly have a
so
full
like
game?
The enemy movement is very simple, waypoint navigation. And what else did we do there? And oh, yeah, when you actually get shot at, you actually freeze so that the bullet can animate perfectly to you.
That is perfect.
Oh, Leo! I forgot
and
about the video. Oh my
Leo
God.
was very inspired by the Plato Plomo, and this was the submission video that you sent in 2015. This was
good times.
I didn't know he was speaking Spanish.
He was dedicated.
He was really dedicated. And here's the platformer. You're running around. I mean, this is basically the drawing.
Oh yeah, I should credit Marco. Marco, the guy I worked with on Netflix Zone. He helped with the character art for this.
Okay.
I cannot do pixel art that good. I'll just say.
Yeah, me neither. Look at this. Yep. Take the plot though.
My favorite thing working on this, I think, was the helicopter, because really I wanted to create the illusion that there was this helicopter flying overhead and then it was going to drop a bomb. So all I really did is I took like a shadowy image of a helicopter and just animated across. And then for the bomb drop, it's just like a ever expanding, or basically I'm scaling up a circular shadow.
Okay. I mean, it looked pretty convincing to me. I mean, I believed it.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's like sometimes when you're writing stuff, it's kind of cool to like combine, like make something that looks complex out of something simple, and that I thought that came out pretty well. Right.
I feel like that came out really. Is that still? Should we give that to people? Is that playable online? Sure. Or?
Yeah, I did actually just recently post it online. Is it gorch.com/npop? NPOP, which stands for Narcos Plato o Plomo.
Oh, let me try that. Gorch.
Or I guess I can type it into your chat here.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Actually, you know what? Yeah. If you got it on Slack, that'd be even better.
Let me actually make sure it's still up.
Oh wait, I got it. I found the link. I got it.
Found it? Awesome. Oh, I forgot the games part. Yep.
Okay. Got it. So let me just pull that up. So everybody who wants to try that out, you can give that a go here. You've already JoJo hacks. Got it. There we go.
Yeah, thanks for playing. See if you can get to the end of the game, which is one level.
Very good.
I think Guy's BitBoy has more levels than this game.
Yeah, but like one maybe. I went a little crazy on that. Okay, so that is fantastic. But you had already had the forbidden fruit of having a video game in Hack Day, and that led to more. I mean, like, so it wasn't hard enough just to build one game like on that kind of time table with the graphics and the sound and everything else and the helicopter effect. Like, you went on. What is? I mean, Stranger Games has a perfect 8-bit feel to its title, but really it had the my 80s TV playback nostalgia. Like, how did this hack work?
Yeah, I guess background, as you put, Stranger Things, the series, for me felt like it was very immersive to the 80s. You know how they pulled.
And Stranger Things had just come out, like, so you had done this at that Hack Day where Stranger Things had just dropped. Yeah,
because generally, I guess the idea when you work on Hack Day, you want to do something fresh and current, and I think around that time it had been out recently. Yeah, of course, continuing on my 80s obsession, I wanted to do anything involving with the 80s. I'm always signing up for, but
sure.
This actually was a progression. I mean, it wasn't like I had a concept laid all out and then I'm going to go implement it. There's a story behind this. I don't know if you have it in your files, yeah. But the very early concept of this, I just really simply wanted to make a Stranger Things inspired Atari 2600 type of game that's almost like adventure, for those that remember.
Oh, adventure, nice. Will Robinette, right?
Yeah, good call. Yeah. But I realized over time, like, this isn't really what I want to do. and then I kind of like I
It almost
simplified
killed
my goals.
Will.
And really, this is sort of a mashup of different ideas. Idea number one was I always thought it would be cool to do something like Mighty's TV, but in a 3D type of situation. And I thought, having played around with 3JS recently at the time, I figured out how you could take a quad and render it in 3D. And then if you can at least do that, then you can pretty much draw or blit anything to that. And so just by separating or abstracting everything apart, like I could do the game in like in a siloed fashion, get it working, and then just like the draw method to draw to this like 3D surface.
Okay.
And then the 3D effect that you see here, what I'm basically doing is I just watched I went all through Stranger Things, the whole season 1, and tried to find any image still where they had a TV in the background and anything that looked like a good opportunity to like crop out the tube and use as a drawing surface. I tried to do that. The fun part was trying to get the 3D quad to align with the stencil cutout. And to do that, there was no magical math formula I used. All I did in the end was I just created a dedicated demo app that I had keyboard shortcuts to change like every degree of movement, like translation, rotation, zoom, all that stuff. And then I would just move it just right. And then I would get like, I guess, was it the matrix coordinates? Everything, I would just spit it out. And then that was, for this particular still, I would use this particular perspective or projection.
Okay, and then you just sort of looked it up as you were running to put it onto the screen. And is this the game is this on Gorch as well?
Yeah, it's up there. I think it's Gorch.com, or I can shout the link later if you want.
I want to say that this is the right game here. So I've got Stranger Games, but I'm not. Okay, that is it.
That's it.
And so, and that would draw on whatever TV.
Yeah. So what you're seeing here, for example, is the background is that image still with the stencil cut out, and then what you see where you see Stranger Games, it's really just a 2D game that's projected on a 3JS surface. Okay. And then you see it's kind of wiggly and staticky. Yeah. So this is to kind of make it more retro immersive, and that like what I'm doing there is I'm kind of stealing a little bit from my 80s TV. I'm taking that animated static, but I'm making it more translucent. Okay. So you can actually see through it. And nice. But the other thing I did, which I didn't think this up myself, I was just kind of really looking around. I was Googling like for different effects, and the one really cool thing I found, I forget who posted this, but you can basically, if you take like the red, green, and blue color channels, and you basically try to make it like a vintage cathode ray tube, and on an old TV, for example, is you have an electron gun for like red, green, and blue. Yep. And for older TVs, I wanted to create the illusion that it looked like a really bad TV, I guess, if you will. And essentially what I did is I took the game screen, and all of the red colors were drawn to an off-screen red target, and all of the green colors were going to a green target, and then finally the blue for the blue target. So you had think of it as 3 different canvas surfaces that each had one color favored. And then I took those 3 surfaces and I did a parallax effect. So that parallax effect created like this blur. Nice. And I think if you there it is on the top right hand corner. I think one of those, maybe the distortion slider. If you want to play around with that, you can see it. Sure.
Oh, nice.
You might have to start the game to really see it. To full
effect. I'm seeing it with the dots, but yeah, let me start the game. I don't know. I don't see a sound control to turn it down, so I think it's just going to be loud. But
sorry. You can probably mute your tab if you want.
It's all right. It's so here it is. We're on there. There it is on the other scene. Yeah, this is pretty sweet.
I mean, there's 2 games here. I don't know if there's the Van Dodge, which is and then there's Inside the Upside Down. One is basically like a Frogger clone, and the other is like a Pac-Man clone.
Oh, I just died. I'm not good at this. Okay, so I want to Frogger this, and I get to play on the TV. Okay, I totally got level 1, dude. I'm rolling. I'm like speed running this stuff. Okay, so basically, this game is fantastic. I love it. And I can crank up the blockiness. Look at. Okay, so that's how you did it with the different And static. Oh, look at the static effect. What?
I should admit that a lot of this wasn't done during Hack Day. Some of this I did as polish after Hack Day because I was going to put it up on the website. And so I don't even, like the sliders you see, that was not done like the day of the hack.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna blame this on the. Oh, I see. It's the static that's killing me. I mean, I would have been fine there, but totally like the static. Okay.
And if you want to make the console more lame, I think the blockiness is like if you go all the way down on the blockiness slider. I think that does like Atari 2600 level graphics.
Oh wow!
All I'm really doing is swapping out the sprites.
Oh, I totally love it. This is wonderful.
Thanks.
Okay.
This was an absolute joy to work on. It was just fun to really do something that was like sort of attached to the Stranger Things show.
Okay, but then I have the last major hack here, which is so we came off Stranger Games. That got work. That's available. Everybody can try it. But we went on from there to nostalgia because we had not seen any nostalgia before. And this is on stage at Hack Day. Here you are presenting. You've got 2 minutes to set up while this. So Joey's setting up over here, and you've got the other team is just coming off. You're about to go live, and you've got 2 minutes on that stage to sell it. So here's the TV. Now you're already really good. Now I see the sliders, so I'm guessing. Except now you went crazy with sliders. You have like 20 sliders at this point.
So the backstory here is I kind of wanted to do what I did from my 80s TV, but apply it to Netflix. And
okay.
I guess within my first or second year at Netflix, I was really thinking about doing that, but I realized quickly that I didn't quite have the experience to do it yet. There were a lot of hurdles I'd have to clear. Like number one is I had never written a Chrome extension, so I had to like learn how to do that, and then I have to learn like how the Netflix web browser, the web player works.
So what is this? This took Netflix and it puts it into that same style of like retro. So you're not using YouTube for this.
Yeah. It's basically, think of it as Mighty's TV interface, but it allows you to. It's tapping more into like the CSS filters to let you override the quality to make it more vintage. It's not, the idea is not to use the sliders to make the picture sharper, but to make it worse.
Make it worse. So sort of like the digital version of what Bogdan did when he actually got Netflix on a 50s TV,
that's right?
You know?
Which is an awesome hack, by the way. Yeah.
So now available with website and full content to everybody, because now it wasn't hardware, but you managed to have 1 million sliders. I mean, there were so many adjustments you could do. You had a logo. I mean, look at this logo. I mean, there's a logo.
Before you get to the logo, I just want to call out the team real quick.
Yeah.
I did not do this all by myself. I definitely learned over time with Hack Days. It's always good to like do things in groups. I mean, that's the whole spirit of it. Is
absolutely
to do things in a team effort. And this is my team: Samana, Jeff, Naz, and Vishal. But,
that's great.
They definitely helped a lot.
And you showed this. I mean, should we? Actually, this one isn't. We don't have a live version of that, right?
I don't know, actually.
Oh, you know what? Oh, we have the video, don't we?
Yeah, there's a video. I think there's a video in there.
Oh, I don't know the video. I don't know where the video is.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't really put it up easily because it's a Chrome extension, and the Chrome extension is written to work with Netflix code, which could change at any time.
Okay, well, all right. We won't show it live. Might be productized someday, but this and then you showed this to everybody. Here's the logo. I mean, so you were really ready for this presentation.
So I probably spent more time on the logo than I should have, and the story behind this is, when Stranger Things season 3 came out, I really loved that Star Court logo.
Yeah.
I thought this is like perfect 80s.
Yep.
And all I really did is I tried to I went into paint.net or whatever. Maybe I forget what I used, but I was trying to like make the logo for Nostalgia Flicks as similar as possible to that. So like the S, I literally like rectangle boxed it and like copy pasted it. And then I tried to like, I tried to like piece together everything else, but I spent a lot of time trying to like just copy paste to make the logo off of the Star Wars.
And this is just a super cool. And then the best part of this hack is, here's the sliders. I actually have here's the 1 million sliders. You can control blur, grayscale, saturation, sepia hue, contrast, brightness, graininess, tube glow, tube shadow, video zoom. I mean, and then you had all these and then the titles, you could sort of set which year you wanted to see.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, so the way it worked was if you picked a particular year, whatever was under the Netflix license was basically populated. And
okay.
As far as the sliders go, a lot of those were pretty much directly using the native CSS filter, but some of those were different. I think the tube glow was actually a CSS blur effect.
Okay.
And the shadow was a CSS, was it an inset? I'm still learning my CSS,
wow.
sorry.
I am pretty terrible at CSS, but you, and this was not like your ultra specialty. This was just kind of like just playing around with CSS kind of.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm so glad that the web platform has matured, because when I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but when I got into web development originally, that was like in the web 1.0 days, and it was a really hard environment to adapt. Yeah, but I'm just so happy that things have evolved over time and become more approachable.
That is totally awesome. I mean, so that is a pretty sweet hack. I mean, so like it was done with the extension that we pull that in, and you won.
Yeah, I'm thankful for that. That was awesome.
I'm seeing the trophies. I'm seeing the official shirts. Look at you. You went up. You just done the presentation on stage. I see Steven hanging out there in the background.
Yeah, that's right. I'm wearing my 88 miles per hour T-shirt, which is another.
You got to go 88 miles an hour. You're gonna see some serious stuff. I like it. Okay, so that was JV Peak. I totally agree. The tool chain was a Netscape composer. Nice. Okay, so and that is just epic. I mean, and there you are on stage. It's gonna go well. I mean but always scary. When you get on stage.
There's a funny story here I have to share.
Yeah.
Vishal, I hope Vishal is not mad at me later, but
oh no, Vishal, don't look.
We had like practiced the demo one day before or an hour before, trying to get the pace of it. And when we were presenting, Vishal was I guess he was a little nervous at the time, and he double clicked instead of single clicked.
Oh yeah.
And it caused us to skip ahead, but I guess thankfully I was watching him do that, and I was like, oh, what do we do? And so I just jumped ahead to kind of catch up. I don't think anyone really noticed it, but we skipped a step in the demo. But it's like a fun wartime.
It's kind of like controlled chaos on stage. You know, it's kind of like everything's sort of breaking, and you either roll with it or it just owns you. Yeah.
What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, that's basically it. So that was quite an array there. I mean, I think that was just an epic showing of hacks. I mean, and that's not even like all of them. I mean, this is just like a small selection of some of the hackery that happened. Now, from there, you're still at Netflix, but then you went down to LA. You were with I actually got to hack with you down there. This was the LA Hack Day. We could zoom in on the win trophy here. I've never seen one of these, but there it is. And you're hanging out with Tyler, who incidentally is on the show next week.
Stay tuned for next week.
Yeah, he makes our CSS go to shame, but
he is the CSS guy.
Yeah, he knows absolutely everything about it. But he's building Tetris right now in CSS, like in his spare time. But anyway, so at this hack, you even built a T-shirt for the Hack Day. I mean, that's your T-shirt for your hack, right?
Well, I didn't design it, but I was.
No, but I mean, that was the prodigal hack.
Yeah, this the high level summary of this hack was think of it broadly as an easy way to notify developers or artists, like when you make changes. Like if you're working in a pipeline, and it could be a movie or a TV show, you're working with a lot of people, and you want to stay in tight communication. This was the basic hack was to make notifications a lot easier.
Okay, I mean, exactly the right sort of thing to be showing.
Oh, and this was this is one of those hacks where I didn't really have the idea. I mean, I want to give credit to the team that actually came up with this, and I had joined it last minute to help out another UI developer, and at that time I don't think I was that strong working with React, and I made for those that use React, I made the fatal mistake of having two separate sources of state, if that makes sense.
Oh no!
And it was a bitter nightmare, and I vowed never ever to do that again. I think the best way of learning is to just make a really bad mistake and never repeat it again.
Yep. No, that is totally the right way to do it, I think. And it's a great place to learn because it's just hack day that's on the line, right? I mean, no big deal.
Yeah. And the thing I loved about working on that hack was it sort of indirectly led me, I guess, and you to meet Seinfeld, which was kind of a cool.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if we're supposed to talk about the that thing, but we did get to do something like that. So I want to pull up this, but it is totally this website is just bad. Because so here's the Joey. Okay, I found the original blog for it, but this was so we had a lot of fun down there. We had a lot of fun up there. You had all sorts of retro stuff, and the one time that there was like a really, really great so this whole like journey, I mean, how do you describe, I mean, it's safe to mess around during any of these, like, hack days, because obviously you're not going to be judged on it. It's like, I mean, well, you are judged on it, but I mean, you're judged on it for hack purposes only. And it's not like, so it's a great time to like sort of explore, try stuff out, mess around, scratch an itch, learn a new technology. Is that like how you don't see yourself stopping going to these things, right?
No, I think, I think it's great having the opportunity to work at a company that gives sponsors things like that, but it does actually make it did shift my thinking over time, because what I realized is that when you time box something and you sort of throw out formality, you throw out rules, and you really let creativity kind of just take over, I think that's a more effective way to build something or learn something. There's so many times in the past where I have tried the textbook approach, like reading books on certain like technology, and I would read through it and then I would just drop it and not do anything with it. But with a hack, you're thinking of the end goal right away, and you're reverse engineering what you need. And
I've got this much time. I can only do this much. It has to go on stage. I have to show it. Well, I mean, and that brings a focus, right?
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. And sort of what I try to do along the way is, I guess you could call it like a mind hack, if you will, but I try to pick something like an area of technology I was not familiar with, like whether it was VR, Chrome extensions, 3D, etc. And just like, well, here's an excuse to do something with it. If I don't have that excuse, I'm not as externally motivated. Maybe that's just my own personal psychology. I think that makes sense. I mean, and I do want to ask, relating to that, if you could pick one tool that you think an aspiring hacker could use, like if you said, like, if you really want to do a lot of hacking, you need this, and don't say laptop, what would it be? My default answer, I don't know if this counts as an answer, JavaScript. I mean,
okay, so you think that like JavaScript is like very friendly hack environment. I mean, it's not like super heavy, and you can get a lot done, and
I think it shifted my whole mentality. I mean, it didn't do it right away, but over time, when this whole ecosystem emerged where you had everybody creating node libraries, you shifted your thinking, and like, rather than like the building blocks, you were building things out of larger building blocks of abstraction, rather than trying to like focus too much on the detail, like slogging your way through. Like if you're making a game, for example, if you were doing that in C++, I mean, maybe things have changed since then, but you would spend a lot of time doing the engine, the level design, making the
memory
tool that does all this stuff, right?
Yep.
And it just takes a lot of time. But when you realize how much, if you approach JavaScript, you're stitching together bigger rocks, bigger libraries, and in some way that kind of creatively lets you break free, I think.
Okay, and that focus that you get, I mean, so you also like that focus from sort of the hack day, like you have to ship it by this point, and it causes you to be sort of ruthless with cutting. Like, no, I can't, I don't have time to do
true.
that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that type of focus, I like that. I mean, but I remember one hack you did that was not nostalgia at all. There was zero nostalgia, and it was a pretty great hack, because as I recall, it was something that if you had missed, like if you were trying to like watch a show and you just happen to miss the dialogue, you would usually like sort of stop and rewind and try to hear it again. And you had gone one step further with that, right? So you said, no, it's not just like if you miss something. If you're stopping the video and you're rewinding it and you're trying to listen to it again, you probably have a reason to do that. You probably missed something that was there. And you enabled something. Do you remember this hack day? I know it was years ago.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I think, say what?
Yeah, I think it was say what. And I feel like that was not a nostalgia hack at all. I mean, in a sense. I mean, this one was very much a like this was a very useful feature. This was like what was just said. What tell us about this hack. This is like in the beginning, right? This is like right after you've joined Netflix back in 2013, 14. Long time ago.
14, yeah.
14? Okay.
This is probably the second hack I worked on. We won't talk about the first hack, which didn't win, but that's not important. So this actually is probably the first hack I worked on that came out of source of pain, because I really did, for those, I should explain more of that. When I watch TV at home, oftentimes I like having the subtitles on, even though I can read the lips. They're oftentimes in the dialogue, like it's like it's not really discernible. So I always found using the TV remote that, oh my God, I'm going through like 12 steps. I almost feel like I'm entering a Konami sequence just to get to the subtitles, and it took so long. And I thought, why can there be an easier way to do it? And some of this was explored. I was reaching out to, I guess, was it Steve McGuire who knew us how our subtitles were streamed or downloaded. Yep. And the idea basically is, to kind of say it bluntly, is normally when you watch something, you have the subtitles come up at a particular time in the dialogue, a particular timestamp. And what this basically does is it embeds those subtitles in the actual trick play. But it does a little bit more. It does like not just for like the current frame, but if it takes like the trick play frame from before and after, and it sort of merges those into one summary of
okay. If you're gonna use that word trick play, I'm gonna have to tell them what it is. So this by the way, everybody, is trick play is, there's no real notion of rewinding or fast forwarding when you're doing a streaming service. I mean, we have the video, you can jump exactly to an offset, but people still have this notion of like, oh, rewind it, fast forward it, but there's not a tape in the back room that's like cycling around, right? So to give you that notion of time and how much you've passed, like we show these little images like below on the video so that you can kind of see like where you're jumping to approximately. So those are the trick play images that Joey's referring to.
It's actually basically trick play is the scrubber with thumbnails, as another way of saying it.
Scrubber being the thing that you scroll.
I guess you can really click and drag. Yeah.
Okay, so
there are some limits.
Okay, try not to use too much UI terminology, but and so sorry, you had figured out which two trick play frames were involved.
Yeah, but I guess the biggest thing I wanted to do here was just make it like, what is the fewest steps I can take just to get to the subtitles? Because sometimes when I'm watching something like I'm watching a comedy special, like I don't want the subtitles on, because that sort of ruins it sort of ruins the punchline, because I can read it before he says it, or she says it. And so oftentimes what I just want to like toggle it on and then toggle it off. And it was the moment I think it was you press the up button, it would just instantly show the trick play with the subtitles. So in one button press, you have a glance of the subtitles, and then you can snap out of it right away. You don't have to. It's not a path you have to commit to. You don't have to have all subtitles on.
Very good.
All subtitles off. Now, it's just a momentary decision. That's really all it was.
Jane mentioned in that someone threatened to break up with her once because she would watch everything with subtitles on. So you do have some fans of subtitles here, but
I think you're better off without them.
That they do prefer, and Fafi prefers the knobs track through the frames. Okay, but he did give you the knobs. Now, this is one of the only like not nostalgia, not game, not like, this is a pretty useful hack, right? There was a problem you were sort of after here.
Yeah.
And the one time you entered it that I saw is also the one time that I entered in exactly the same category, because there was no nostalgia category. We sort of created it at that hack day. If I just scroll up on the Netflix tech blog, you're going to see the hack that was in the same category as your hack.
Yeah.
Which was Netflix on the original Nintendo.
Which was the far better hack,
but
I say.
I feel was totally, I mean, and now again, they didn't have, you were supposed to like pick categories, and they had put us, I had chosen something like fun and, silly and nostalgia, NES, whatever. And they had put us in the same category. So here we have like this useful, like, what did that person just say what type hack, which people had to vote on in the room, versus this totally ridiculous, absolutely useless, but super cool Netflix on the original Nintendo hack, which they thought we faked anyway. So there we are, category against category, and you won it. And I don't know, do you remember the end of that? Like, because, I mean, obviously, I think the audience made the right choice. They chose the useful feature. Like, this is the thing that propels Netflix into the future. Guy, we don't even know what you're showing. Guy,
when I heard I won, it was a moment of elation, but simultaneously disappointment, because I thought, what the hell? Like, the dude just like went off and wrote. He ported the Netflix UI to run on an NES natively.
Yep, with Wubba-Dub-Dub and Karenina.
It wasn't in the whole team, right? You didn't just like do smoke and mirrors. You actually did the thing.
Yeah,
which I thought was more impressive.
Which, by the way, as JV Peak just asked, did I do the NES stuff before, or did I learn it? I actually learned it for this hack. Now, we did prepare NES programming beforehand because I had no idea how memory mappers worked. I didn't know much of. I mean, I knew the 6502 from the 2E, but this, we talked about that in my show. This was a useful feature. And it created the category of fun and nostalgia, which you took an amazing number of trophies for.
That was an awkward moment.
I think that was...
Yours was the more famous hack. You got a lot more press on that, I think.
And yours was the useful hack that we never rolled out. I still don't know why that wasn't a feature, but that, I just remember one of the funniest moments was at the end of that, you looking at my hack and going, that is like the greatest thing ever. Take my trophy.
I tried to give it to you, I think.
And Joey tried to give me the trophy, and I was like, no, man, you won. And there's the two of us, like, ultra geeking out. Like, I'm thinking how cool his utility is. He's thinking how cool my NES thing was. I was totally in the wrong category. And we're just both sitting there going, like, wow. And I promised all of my viewers in previous shows when I talked about because they've seen some Nintendo programming with BitBoy and some of the other streams I did, and they said, oh, you did that thing with like the Nintendo on like the Netflix on the original Nintendo, and I was like, yeah, I totally did that. And they said, man, what's it like to win so many trophies? I was like, I'm bringing the guy on who won the trophy. The
thing is, when I was working in Nintendo DS development, that was 20 years after NES development, I think. And I know how hard it had to be for you. Yeah, it was already hard for me working in Nintendo DS.
Oh man, that was one of the funniest moments after. I just have this like rocky image of losing. Like, it was just super fun, but that is exactly what JV Peak just said. That is how friendships are made. Yeah, we basically just every actor, hey, what are you doing? I'm not going in your category again.
Like, what category are you going to be in?
What are you going to be in, Joey? I'm going to be not in that category. Super fun, though.
We still somehow stayed friends after that. We still sang together.
Yeah, no, that was...
I think we did
became better friends after that. I think, but it was just... I think it's funny that the one time you didn't do a nostalgia hack, and I did do a nostalgia hack, I went nowhere on it.
I literally had no expectation of winning. It was more just like, this sounds like something I want to do.
Maybe that's where I went wrong. I did. I was like, this is definitely going to win. Netflix on the original Nintendo, this is definitely going to win. There's no doubt about it. Nope. I even told that to Alex, like, prior to the show. I was like, this is going to win. There's no chance it doesn't win. They don't mention it here in the dialogue, but this did not win. There's no trophy for this hack.
But I think this may have been the precursor for the later moment in time where you wasn't there a commercial film?
Oh yeah. this is the opening of my hand modeling career
for Castlevania.
So, yes, it was Castlevania. It's when we launched Castlevania a couple years later, and I pushed the cartridge in to the Nintendo and pushed it down. So this should have been my SAG credit, but because I blew on the cartridge, and I feel like that's a speaking line.
Yeah. Just to make you feel better, I haven't received any hand model contracts since Say What.
Yeah, that's awesome. But really, that is just a tremendous your set of hacks here. This is really just absolutely tremendous. I mean, even when you did a utility, you did the utility awesome. I mean, that really great. And also that's a great tool set to I think for people who are interested in doing hacks. If you're not hacking, go hack. Like, I mean, what are you waiting for? Like there's kind of no rules at all. I mean, so some companies are like very like notorious about like, oh, it has to be like totally related to this, and Netflix is kind of like a little more like laid back. Like, have fun, get something to work, enjoy it. Maybe you got a product idea, maybe you don't. Maybe you just want to have some fun, build some stuff, meet some people, and whatever.
And just do it, and be aware that your hack might actually end up changing your career, like
like hand modeling.
I started with JavaScript. I was just like playing around with it at the time, and I just got, oh, I really love this stuff. This is actually amazing. Maybe it wasn't so amazing in the Web 1.0 days, but it definitely got better. No,
totally. I mean, I feel like I got better at each hack. JV Peak is asking us, did you guys ever join external hackathons?
No. What is that?
I haven't actually tried that. I basically hack every day on Twitch. I mean, so like pretty much like most of my live coding streams, I feel like I'm always writing hack code because it's definitely not production code. But never actually did that. That might be interesting. Please tell me in advance so I don't compete. JV Cheeks. I mean, the series is the Power Hacker series. This is Joey Cato, everybody. This is absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Joey, so much for coming on the show and visiting us and walking down memory lane, looking at some of these wonderful things, and just very inspiring to hear, like, just get into a hack, get some JavaScript. You make me want to program JavaScript, and I don't like JavaScript. but I feel like doing some JavaScript after this. Joey, thank you so much.
Oh, you're most welcome, and thank you for having me. I'm glad I had a chance to talk about stuff I love to do. I hope everyone else feels inspired to do it.
Totally. And thank you, everybody who dropped by. Thank you, by the way, there was some follows in there, so I missed that. Goodbye. We're going to be taking off. Next stream, I'll be up on Saturday doing some hackery stuff, so you can join the Discord if you haven't seen that. So just, I think most of you here have seen the Discord or are in it, but you can always, of course I shut the bot off, and that's because I had a power outage earlier today. So that is what you get when you don't have some bot, and that's the reason the servos that we built last night are not on there. So I'm gonna some bot get online. Okay, there you are, some bot. Thank you. Okay, so there is the Discord. So come join that. I have some of the best programming emotes on Twitch. That's what Carl just dropped. This is fine. There's also, Joey, you might like this. This is my general how I view most of the code I write as a dumpster fire. And I've also got the one of my favorites. This is the no regular expressions. Oh, and actually one more thing before we actually tune out, because I see it and I totally forgot to mention it, is that shirt. What is that shirt you're wearing?
Oh, the shirt I'm wearing?
Yes.
This is a reference to Bandersnatch.
Yeah. This is the Bandersnatch branching original. So that is a great shirt that you got there.
Thank you. It's probably one of my favorite pieces of Netflix swag.
That is.
I had so much fun working. They had invited a lot of, I guess, employees at the time to do testing of the show. And it was just so fun to go through all the branching.
Yeah, these were the shows where you could like choose your own adventure, kind of. I mean, I know it's not called that, but you could decide for the characters which way the story was going to go, and you could watch it through multiple times. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. Otherwise, Joey, thanks so much for being here, and everybody drop by either Saturday or next week. We have on Joey's partner in crime from the LA Hack Day. We have this man, Tyler Childs. He's going to be joining us pretty soon. So. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Social distance, all that. Register to vote. Come on, please. Nothing like last night. And anyway, we'll see you later. So take care.
Cheers, everybody.